I'll start my questioning. Let me start by asking Leo Stan, who happens to be the father of technology in Nigeria. Leo Stan, if you're there and if you can hear me, we have never before attempted to shut down the modern global economy, much less reopen it in the setting of an ongoing pandemic. At least since I was born, I've never heard such a thing. How do you think that coronavirus has changed the world permanently?
Well, thank you very much, and thank you, listeners, for being online. In simple terms, you just say you have to win a war before the war. In the last 25 years of my life, I've told Nigerians that if you don't have technology independence, you don't have independence in 21st century. And this is where we are. It's like telling you to live well. I always say the new life is life of style, and the new generation belongs to that. What we're experiencing today is what has been existing, but we call it the new economy. For those who have existed, they know that they are deficient in the country. And I say this because for few companies in Nigeria who spend money on infrastructure, personal infrastructure, on upscaling their human capital, okay, this should be a booming period for them. Now, technology, we are facing the reality today. Schools, our children are studying in other countries, including Ghana, but we can't study here. Why? Just simple technology, power, internet infrastructure, which we have in excess because we have a lot of sea fiber cables into the country. So we have enough bandwidth. And over 17 years ago, we designed projects for e-learning. And the NCC had spent a lot of money, but it's never enough just for few schools, and you need to sustain it. We even deployed e-health for federal government, that today, some of the young medical officers in the villages could leverage on the knowledge base, okay, skill of those professionals, experts, okay, who are in the city. Okay, so it's like a shock, and they call it a new normal. It's like telling you to live well. Why do you have to wait for you to have an accident for you to start living well? But having said all this, it's never too late. The good thing about it is that if we realize we made mistakes, we've been very slow. It's cheaper for us. Like I tell young entrepreneurs, that's smarter entrepreneurs, leverage on smart entrepreneurs, and they take the products to the market and they become the champion. And the founders who actually did the research and business development are not known. So if we realize that today, because we've seen deficiencies, why are we on Zoom? Without Zoom, you won't be talking to me because I won't fly from Lagos to Abuja. Okay? It costs little or nothing, but it's the only way you can drive. Now, a lot of companies, I work into some companies, they don't deploy enterprise application. How could you be using Excel to do your accounting? What of analytics? A whole lot of things will change, whether you like it or not. A lot of companies will die. And if you look at the fundamentals in Nigeria, they are weak, but very, very cheap. So it's like telling your child today, what is the importance of analog phone, landline? Why should he spend money getting a landline? He's not interested in the history of landline. Okay, because of style of living in 21st century. So we're going to see huge disruption because we are just starting. We should have done this as a lifestyle.
Okay. Talking about those disruptions, do you think that we really have a chance to stand in the midst of those 2019 disruptions? If we have a chance, what's giving us the edge? If we do not have the chance, what are the deficiencies?
Well, the disruption, thank you very much. The disruption is across, including in religion. When you have human capital, smart human capital, if you give me the Amajiris, are condemned today as beggars. If you've interacted with them at dawn, these are very smart people. They don't need to go through primary school to secondary school to universities to be human beings. This has happened in India. You put them into a finishing school, quick finishing school. In 4 years, make them very comfortable, better than they are today. They will stay. They become reasonably learned, and you can make them coders. The world needs minimum of 1 million coders a year. To bring up a coder in the US or Europe or in England takes about 1 year. To bring smart coders, because Nigerians are very smart, and they use common sense, because the economy does not provide any scientific attachment to their common sense. These guys will become billionaires. They'll be hired. So in 4 months, a lot of these kids will start earning 80,000 to 120,000. And then they become models to others. So we have brilliant kids, we have quality population, but we seem to deceive ourselves. And you've forgotten people like us also are Nigerians. We studied, and a week after we graduated, we came in here. Okay, we changed the publishing industry. Today we're talking about the new normal because there is Zoom. Now, few companies like us have deployed video conferencing. So how do I speak with my staff team when I want to have a retreat? In Dubai, in Ghana, in Port Harcourt. Some of them could come if they were coming by air. Some will miss their flight or cancel. So how do you hold a quality conference? Now, some of us few years ago, 15 years ago, spent over 500 million deploying same technology. Today, that technology is costing, with nothing, no infrastructure, $26. Okay, in a month. Now, if you had Zoom, you don't have internet, you don't have light, it means nothing. And so I'm also not prescribing that we wait until when we have power all over the country, because there's alternative portion, and that's why people like us entered into alternative power supply. Okay, and cheaper generator. So if I had a 1 kVA generator, I'll still be online with you. I don't need to run a 25 kVA generator or 300 kVA generator. So the country, the demography also helps. And you have people who are not just intelligent, smart, but very hardworking. They have energy. So we have all it takes. But what is lacking when the people talk about the new is mindset. Mindset to do it right. I'm 64 today, but I feel sincerely 25. My pain is that in the last 40 years of my life, I worked to change. But have I achieved something? Not all. The media today in the country are computerized in the first time when they saw that stuff publishing. So other people are also adding value. The young man who is online, the Future Africa, has done well in payment system. When I launched e-commerce in Africa many years ago, because I was anticipating the future, launched the first e-commerce company in Africa. I remember Oshomole calling me digital militant in Transcorp positively. The minister was also there when it was launched. So today, do you know how many people e-commerce companies, the two big ones, Jumia and Konga, employs? Not just the employment, but giving knowledge to people who could override them tomorrow. This is the multiplier effect of an economy. So the people must have a mindset to embrace new revolution. Now, the FIS, like one of our speakers said, one of our guests here said, is EFCC must tolerate entrepreneurs. No digital entrepreneur is normal, because the country makes you mental. I sympathize with the very young people. Now, if you take a loan, you lose money. The public goes against you. The bank goes against you. But for the bank to give you the first month, they would have read their proposal and have seen a vision and clear mission to achieve. So people like us have lost money. 4 years ago, I lost $28 million in China, working on robotics and artificial intelligence. If I succeeded, FIRs will make a lot of money. The banks will make a lot of money. But I nearly died because if that money was taken locally, EFCC will go after me. The government will go after me. And the public will celebrate my failure. So all said and done is that first we need a mindset to allow these young people change the story of Nigeria, to defend, and like I said also in religion, today, why should a young boy go to a church, a building, and sit down for 3 hours listening to a pastor and the reverend father? And he's distracted. The reality, and I told some priest, I'm a Catholic, I told some priests this thing 2 years ago. They didn't believe me. They said, what of communion? Did I commit a special offense that I must take communion? Even people inside the church premises, church building, they don't take communion, some of them. Okay? So we must accept the change. The government, first of all, must accept it to tolerate those crazy young boys. Put them right. But let me tell you what is critically missing in the country, with even on the entrepreneurs, okay, is that the school system is weak. One of us had said it. What do you learn in school today? Sometimes the students know more than the teachers because they're exposed to the global community through internet. Now, I had preached in the past that this country must create a finishing school. During the summer holidays, everybody is traveling. The school premises are empty. People could rent them and do what you call smart MBA for these young people. Teach them accounting for non-accountants. Okay? There's a way somebody who wants to be successful should dress. There's a way he must talk, even what he feeds on.
Leo Stan, over to you. How do we
Can I ask a question, please?
How do we create these jobs?
Well, frankly, I see. You can hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Please go ahead.
I see infinite possibilities in the Nigerian economy. And I've been here for the last 30, 35, 40 years doing business. Let's take example. When they said there's somebody announcing government we're expecting, was a big news, 1 million face masks. That was even an insult to the person who announced it. Why do we need a face mask from China? Do you know the quality of production in an emergency? The decency of the environment? We have tailors. If you gather all the tailors in Lagos, right now they are not designing for fashion, birthdays, weddings, and all the rest of them. Put them in an open school and give them electricity. They already have the sewing machines. If you enter a party in this country, 90% of the designers wear you see, okay, are caught and stitched by local Nigerians. Now we're creating employment for Chinese people. And we're killing our people. What the government needed to inject is do it across 36 states plus Abuja. And these kids will produce a minimum of 3 million a day. You create a job.
I like the Zinox, Chairman.
Hello?
Yes, please go ahead.
Now, what we basically should do is to look inward. We seem to praise, I'm an entrepreneur, a digital entrepreneur for the last 35 years. And we've gone through hell. That's why I use the mindset thing. If you have a mindset, you send your children out of this country to go to the best institutions. They come back, you don't believe them. You wasted their money. The same school we went, same test, same examination. We passed better than some of the people they trust. But also I agree on global standard. So there are huge opportunities. I'm talking about just tailors. You just buy them finishing industrial machines that don't cost more than 3 million each. Now, what you see is a cluster of industries. So you have the people stitching, you have the people packaging, they'll come on their own and pay the rent. You have the people dry cleaning, and then you have people supplying materials. You have created a huge business. The people doing the carton, like one of the gentlemen said here, Packaging material is an issue right now. So you created an industry. Now, after the pandemic, what you get? All schools, public and private, they all wear school uniforms. Some of them are imported from China. So these tailors will start stitching school uniforms on sizes, tie, socks, underwear. Now, what you do globally today, that's why I say smarter people learn from smart people, but take the glory because they're able to go to the market. Now, people will send their brands to these centers. You create your brand, send it to this center, give them the materials, they stitch for you. They have more than enough business 24 hours. These are opportunities. Okay? And it continues. So you can imagine the amount spent in bringing uniform. So some of the countries like Britain and Co., United Kingdom, they might start ordering from us. The machines are the same. It's just the finishing that's the difference.
Okay.
And the finishing machines are not expensive. So I've said one. Second opportunity, Nigeria could see itself as a customer experience center. We speak English. When you call British Airways, the guy you are talking to is in India. That's what you call centers. Now, one of the centers in Ibadan that they say the factory, about 100 and something were infected, is a call center run by an Indian, if I'm not mistaken, and employs about 10,000. What stopped Nigerians making Nigeria a call center? You don't need to live in Lagos because of cost of doing it. You employ a minimum of 40,000 people within 3 months. The training is not more than 2 weeks. The infrastructure cost is not high, but these are tech-driven subjects. Why should a bank own a call center? Why should a Conga own a call center? We have people who speak English who are very smart, who live in their homes and not pay expensive rent.
Okay. I think we've gotten you.
I have a question for Mr. Chairman, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, there's a question coming in.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, sorry, my question is still related to job creation and with a specific reference to e-commerce. So today, Jeff Bezos, who is the founder of Amazon, has been predicted to hit trillionaire status by 2026. What is the role of e-commerce in Nigeria, e-commerce companies in Nigeria, companies like Conga, for instance, in creating jobs post-COVID-19? If an Amazon founder can be hit targeting trillionaire status, what about e-commerce business owners in Nigeria? What is holding them back? What can the government do?
Okay, I think we've gotten your question. So, Leo Stan, quickly answer that question.
Okay, thank you very much. I mean, when I started, I told you how I started e-commerce in Africa and I failed. And the gentleman, when I gave a talk at Harvard University, 2010, I met a young man, Tunde, who launched Jumia. And today, Jumia is a success to a large extent. It was launched by Nigeria, not foreigners, before they acquired it. Now, e-commerce is the next time bomb, whether you like it or not. I did this about 11 years ago. I failed because there was no payment system. And that's why I mentioned about our Future Africa guide. There was no payment system, no debit cards, no credit cards. An entrepreneur is not perfect. After 18 months, we shut down. Before the Jumia and the Conga came in, and then Udala came in. And before we acquired Conga. Now, what have we done? A lot of people don't understand what is e-commerce. Conga has been losing money from the time we acquired it. We are losing an average of 341 million the first 1 year, every month. We're still losing money. We anticipated Conga will break even by December this year, before the COVID. Now, the COVID presented an opportunity. That's why I say always anticipate the future. Now, that opportunity is being frustrated, okay, by the government. The government never announced that e-commerce company, Ghana announced that e-commerce company would help in social distancing. Okay, government never announced it. So the police, a lot of the police people from the barracks and the army, they don't know what is e-commerce. So they frustrate our people, they frustrate merchants. Now, when you place an order, I have to pick the order from the marketplace from a merchant. If the merchant is not out, I can't supply it, you cancel it. Now, the vehicles need to move nationwide because e-commerce deliver nationwide. Okay, but let me cut it short. The supply chain of e-commerce goes from manufacturer to distributor to the sellers who are on marketplace, and everyone employs a whole lot of people to make it happen. Now, Konga employs over 800 Nigerians directly, paid every month. And then if you look at the multiplier effect, the people who deliver goods on our behalf, last mile, okay, all these people were frustrated. So I try to talk to government, except the minister in Abuja and then Lagos State that understood it. So you get to Ogun State is blocked. But having said this, now Nigerians are praising Bears, they are praising Alibaba, but these guys are no more intelligent. They don't have more energy than many Nigerians. If you created 10 e-commerce companies in this country, the minimum turnover in a year will be 1.5 trillion.
Okay.
It's difficult for you to do this business anywhere. So,
okay.
So the future of employment, because of the supply chain, delivery chain, logistics chain, transportation chain of e-commerce. And Konga is taking that burn. Now, maybe as of last month, the losses have come to about 197 million every month. Okay, you need to buy this, but they are determined because they have support from us. Okay, they are determined to make it happen. Now, the application, let me also tell you, the application cost is huge. Whether you have COVID or not, an e-commerce company spends about 126 million naira, okay, equivalent in dollars, paying for application analytics and all the rest of it. Okay, if you shut down, it's a disaster.
Okay, Leo Stan, 30 seconds, final word.
Finally, I just want to express a little bit of caution while we are adopting the new normal. You don't set all your customers to work from home if you don't have the right infrastructure. And there should be a culture to work from home. The family must understand that you are being paid, okay, while you're sitting at home. You can't be babysitting and working for a company that pays you from 8 to 6. That is one. We also should not copy funny models from abroad. If you also note, 40% of successful entrepreneurs in Nigeria did not go beyond standard 6, elementary 6, or primary school, what you call it. 35% of them who are successful or perceived to be successful, okay, stop with school start or GCE. The other 25%, okay, are the mega new business people. So what I would say technically is that we should discuss our model. It's not just a business school. Take statistics, data is king, and then look at what works for you.
Okay. I think we'll leave it at that. What a way to leave it. Nigerianize our model, like I always say on my show. Let's get a model that is Nigerianized. Not everything should be copy and paste.